Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Welcome to Bars and Bells. My name is Ian.
And I'm Lauren.
And what we need for today's practice is something to sit on, something to balance with, and your own body weight. With that, we'll get our breath going. We'll get Lauryn behind that camera and keep things fired up. So we'll start with our breath. Open up your stance to your comfortable place, hand belly, and hand onto the chest. Take a slow breath into the belly, making room, meaning the belly would fill or pull away from the spine. Exhale, pulling the belly back in. Repeat one more. Breath in through the nose, make room, belly pulls away from the spine, and then exhale, pulling the belly back in. Now keep that shape or tension down low and breathe into the ribs or chest. In slow, out with control. Feel the air fill 360 degrees around those ribs for one more. And then exhale. Let's return to the belly down low. Make room, big breath in. Big full. Let's hold full for 4. A slow exhale for 4 seconds. And let's hold empty for 4. Repeat. Breath in down low, 4 seconds in. A 4-second full hold. A 4-second exhale. And also holding empty for 4. Now belly to spine, repeat that effort in the chest. Breath in. Hold full for 4. Exhale for a slow 4. Hold empty for 4. Final time through. Breath into the chest. Holding full. Owning the exhale. And empty for 4 more seconds. And then continue to breathe. All right. Very casual here at the head neck. Start by rotating towards the right. A chin tuck in as we rotate to the right. Then look or sniff towards the armpit, and then circle back to center, chin towards sternum, and then reset your head on that horizon looking forward. Alternate the rotation to the other side. Chin tuck to center, and then reset on the horizon. Repeat the rotation lateral, then look up a wall towards the ceiling, and then with your chin in center, pull the crown high, reset on the horizon, and then rotate the other way. Looking up the wall towards the ceiling or sky, and then in center, pull the crown high, looking straight ahead. Repeating that same effort at the head neck through the rib cage. For that, I do like to modify my stance. And also, place those hands on the abs and perhaps another one on the rib cage. From here, we'll rotate first. The upper body, including the head, will rotate, in my case, to the right, and then do a little side bend here, and then reach around the front, connect the sternum to the hips, and then extend through the spine. Repeat. Rotation. Side bend to that 8 o'clock or 4 o'clock place on a clock, and then to the front, and then back up. Repeat the rotation. The sternum is traveling with the chin. We'll dip to the back corner, and a little reverse limbo here as you go to the back, and then pull that rib cage back onto the hips, and then add a rotation, a side bend to the back corner, again a limbo movement to the back, and then reset rib cage onto those hips. Add a little shake in between. From here, we'll explore a little silly walks with those feet, and then getting into some standing hip stretches.
Do we want to move these?
Yeah, I guess we need these off to the side for a second here.
All right. Getting our silly walks going, let's first start by getting our feet gripping the floor. With your feet underneath you, we'll take one leg to the front and just press our heel pad into the floor. So driving that heel down into the floor, sending energy up through the whole leg, firing up that glute, and then pull that leg underneath, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. Driving the heel into the floor, feeling the energy come up the back of the leg into that butt cheek, and pull returning underneath. This time, let's keep our feet underneath us and peel the heel away from the floor. Right now, push some weight more towards the ball of the foot and the big toe. And as you do that, try to feel that VM, vastus medialis, light up a little bit. And then transition your weight towards the lateral border of the foot, the pinky side, and feel that come up right into the butt cheek. Now bring that to center and push the heel heavy into the floor, extending the hip. Repeat on the other side, peeling that foot away. And first we'll come to that medial side, big toe ball of foot, feeling that inner thigh muscle, and then transition to that lateral border of the foot, up into the glute. Come back to center, press the heel down, extending the hip. We'll do a basic silly walk first, which will be our heel strike, articulating through the foot, lateral border, balls of feet connect, toes spread out, and pushing weight into that. Gently bend through the back foot, flick, and then heel connects, lateral border of the foot, feel that weight, push through, and flick. We'll add on a little bit in this step. As we roll through that front foot, once we're on 2 feet, let's try to find a 2-foot balance here. Holding, that back heel is going to stay up as the front heel reconnects with the floor. Flick, heel, ball, toes. Find that 2-legged balance and hold for a second. That front heel will come down, that back heel will stay up. We'll do 2 more like this. Heel, ball, toe. Find that 2-legged balance. Transition so that front heel finds the floor, flicking the back toes away as the heel rolling through the foot. Find that 2-legged balance and slowly descend. Shaking those ankles out, having just as much relaxation as they can. Tension.
Tension. Let's return to the rib cage and add tension to those flexed and extended positions. For that, again, I like my feet a little bit wider. And we're going to give into gravity here and let the upper back or rib cage flex onto the hips. From here, let's fasten that sternum to the hips, which could feel like that abdominal brace. And with the sternum latched down, lift up through the rib cage, ensuring the head neck isn't doing all this work either. Feel excitement in the abs and a stretch through that upper back. Reset in a nice tall position on that horizon. One more time. It's that sternum that slowly flexes with gravity towards the hips. Then batten down the hatches, implement that brace, and keep your sternum down for 10 seconds now as we try to continue to extend the rib cage or T-spine. And breathe. And reset to center. Hopefully, again, that feels like work on those abs and that stretch load on the upper back. Same idea as we move sideways. So we'll do our lateral bend like a little teapot here. And then this shortened side, zip down and pull down to the floor to bring the rib cage the other way. Reset and center. Casual effort to do that side bend. Then zip down those ribs to hips and pull down there to bring the rib cage the other way. Reset and center. Final effort here. Gentle lateral bend. Zip down and pull the rib cage against those obliques on that shortened side. And then last one here is we flex the other way, zip down to those hips and pulling the rib cage back. And then we can shake that out. Adding that tension, mobilize, add that tension for strength. Time 2. Get out those chairs and get into our Captain Morgan and then our hamstring stretch.
Excellent.
So making sure that it's an easy effort to get your leg on top of that apparatus, use a low step, use a higher step if you need to challenge yourself.
Standing behind your apparati, gently bend one knee and pull the leg through. This is going to be too high. And pull the leg through to let it rest on the box. From here, let's gently hike that hip up and then pull it down and tilt the tail to the ceiling and then tuck the tail under. And with that gently tucked under position, the butt squeeze, we're going to push down into the step and pull that leg towards you. It's not going to move. But as you do that pull into the hip socket and extend that back butt cheek, you should feel some fire in the front of that hip. Holding for a couple more seconds and then relax, but kind of stay where you are. Let's regather up the tension by squeezing the back cheek, driving down and pulling. This time we're actually going to start to drift forward. As we do in our lunge, our knee is going to come towards over our toes. As you can see from Ian, the shoulders are still stacked over top of the hips. Let's hang out here for a second, and then we'll drive down and forward and push back, but keep extending that back hip forward. And then relax. We'll take that leg off by bending it back and extending underneath. Same thing on the other side. Knee bend, pull that leg up through to hip flexion and let it rest on your chair. From here, we hiked that hip and then pulled it down, and then tilted the tail to the ceiling, and then tucked the tail under, squeezing that back cheek. Once we're there, we're gonna drive down and again, pull that leg into, oh, you saw Ian's chair tip, he's trying so hard. Pull that leg into the socket and keep extending that back hip for 3, 2, and then gently relax. Let's repeat again, tucking under the tail, squeezing the butt, driving down. And again, this time we're gonna slowly start to drift forward. As we drift forward, the knee comes over the toe for that ankle mobility. Our hip stays extended, that back leg stays nice and straight. We hold for a couple seconds, and then we push down and forward to press ourselves back up through to tall. Gently relax, pull the leg off the step, and extend the knee. Nice. From here, we'll do a quick hammy ham. So I like to take a little bit of a step back. We'll return to the first leg, bending it, bringing it up, and gently extending it comfortably on your step. With that leg out in front of us, let's drag the heel a millimeter towards us to pull it in. Then we'll hike that hip and pull it down. And right now we're going to tuck our tail under first, and then we're going to gently tilt it to the ceiling. Let's stay in that slight tail tilt as that extends our hamstring. As we're there, could we pull the foot towards the shin as best we can? Now look at your toes. Are they in line with your foot, or are they pulling towards your knee like elf toes? Let's try to keep them in line. From here, we might add a slight hinge, pushing the hips back as our chest comes forward. We'll come back up to tall, and then we'll gently rotate that leg open, inseam up. We'll bring that back through center, inseam down, whew. Back to center. We'll stand up tall, pulling that leg off the step with control and gently extending the leg. Same thing on the other side. Bend, lifting, and then extending the leg onto the step. Again, pull the heel a little bit towards you to put it in the socket. Then from there, we hiked our hip and we pulled it down. And we tucked under first, and then we gently tilted the tail to the ceiling to get a little more length in that hamstring. We pulled our foot towards our shin, making sure those toes aren't reaching towards your face. And maybe add that slight hinge forward. Ooh. Yeah. And then gently extend to stand back up tall. And we'll do our rotation here so that inseam turns up towards the ceiling, rotating from the glute and back to center. And then the inseam turns down, or internal rotation at the femur, and back to center. We'll drag the foot off, bending the knee, pressing it back behind us, and straightening underneath. Nice. Shake it out.
Shaking out.
Depending on your apparatus, I probably move it out of the way unless you need a balance aid.
Yeah, so we're going to move the chair over, get rid of that box, and in a moment here, be working on those hip bars, continuing the energy down low. Until then, let's go with that alphabet series, the AWTY for shoulders. Start in that W position, straight fingers, elbows drawn in towards those ribs. At the shoulder blades, elevate as to shrug I don't know, and then pull down. Retract, pulling the shoulder blades together, and then protract or rounding towards forward, almost pushing those elbows a little bit out front. Then set those shoulder blades in a nice packed position for you and extend the elbows out towards your T shape. Lauryn's a nice parallel position with the floor, and I'm more 45 degrees down. Challenge yourself, straighten those elbows, and then pull back towards the ribs. Elevate the shoulders once, pull back down, and same effort here to straighten those elbows approaching our T. With the palms facing forward or slightly turned up, at this place, gently elevate those shoulders, pull down, and then from our T shape, could we bring those arms towards overhead without shrugging at the shoulder? But now, elevate or shrug just once, then with stiff elbows, pull down, and then continue to flex or bend through the elbow, returning to the W. We'll repeat that one more time. Elevate, but then pack those shoulders. Extend the elbows towards that T shape. Great. Then making sure those armpits are engaged, pulling down towards the hips. Keep the elbows straight and encourage the arms towards overhead. Straighten those elbows and then elevate the shoulders once. Pack, pulling down, and then continue to pull like a press or also like that chin up back towards a W shape. And then extend the palms facing forward at the elbows and then the casual wiggle and shake. These joints right here are a heck of a lot like these joints right here. We'll take the legs through the leg bar and then we'll get back to more shoulders.
Excellent. Let's start with our straight leg bar today. What that means is we have our balance aid at our side and we're standing up tall on the inside leg. From here, we'll point the outside leg to the front. Let's do the same thing we did earlier. Externally rotate, showing the inseam towards the ceiling, bringing the kneecap to center, and then internally rotating or hiding that inseam. We'll go back to that external rotation or inseam up, sending the hips forward as the leg comes to the side. As we're here, let's do the same thing. Hide the inseam or internal rotation. Try to externally rotate one more time. And then last time on that internal rotation or hiding the inseam as you continue drawing the circle all the way around the back. Roll over the foot. Let's bring it all the way through to the front. Inseam up. Send the leg to the side, pressing the hips forward as to not rotate. Internally rotate on the leg. Finish the circle out the back. We'll roll over the foot in center and we'll do one to the back. Reach long, pointing the toes. And then try to think about rotating that hip like a key in a lock. As it comes around the corner, that pelvis stays nice and stationary. We'll finish all the way out front and then pull the leg in, growing tall underneath. Shake that out. Same thing other side. Da, 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 da. All right, here we go. To the front. Tall on the inside leg, point. Externally rotate, inseam up. Back to center. Inseam down. One more time, externally rotate that femur bone, bringing the inseam up and start sending the leg to the side. Hips come forward. Once at the side, we'll internally rotate that leg again. Try not to hike that hip. Externally rotate. And last time, internally rotate and then continue drawing that circle all the way around the back. Once out the back, roll over the foot. We'll come all the way through center and do that one more time. Pointing. Inseam up, send the leg to the side, and then once there, internally rotate and continue drawing that all the way around out the back. Roll over the foot, growing tall through center. Now once to the back. Reach long, trying not to arch that low back. Stay tight in the core. Open the leg as it comes to the side so that by the time it gets to the side, that inseam is forward. Complete that circle all the way to the front, and then pull the leg underneath, growing tall. Hips.
Hip, hip, hooray. Hip, hip, hooray. One more movement through those shoulders. And with a kettlebell, we would press overhead. And maybe in the kitchen, you're reaching up overhead as well. Use this efficient groove to build your strength with the kettlebell or those life tasks reaching overhead. We'll start with one arm at a time here. This we call our racks position. Our forearm is vertical. That shoulder remains packed. With low intensity, push your arm towards overhead. Low intensity. Overhead might be Lauryn's gold standard in line with the ear, or it might be slightly out front. From this position, let's elevate or shrug the shoulder, and with a stiff elbow, we'll pull. And then continue to pull with tension, make a fist. Energize that pull pattern to return to the rack. Lower the intensity and repeat one more. Low intensity towards overhead. Gold standard would be in line with the ear, but don't force it. elevate the shoulder, pack the shoulder, and then pull back down to the rack's position. Relax that arm and repeat the effort on the other side. The rack's position with shoulders that are packed. Low intensity for now, reach towards overhead. Again, depending on the shoulder, it might be out front the way I'm showing, or in line with Lauryn's ear there, or your own ear. But then from here, we'll elevate or shrug the shoulder. With a stiff elbow, we'll retract and pack. And then continue to pull, returning to that rack position. One more effort here. It's low intensity as we go towards overhead. Then with your elbow as safe straight, in line with your ear as we can, we'll elevate that shoulder in a shrug, pack with a stiff elbow, and then groove this efficient pulling and pressing pattern to the rack, and then that little bit of a shake. It's hinging time, it's folding time, but it's also saying hello time. A sound problem, Lauryn. Another sound problem. Oh no. I think we are okay. I don't know. We got green lights and blue lights here. I'm sorry about that sound. We'll figure that out later here. But it's time to hinge. So Lauryn, take us through the hinges.
The hinge. Standing with your feet slightly wider than your hips, we'll gently tilt our tail and press our hips towards that back wall. In my hinges, I've been thinking about sending those hips straight back. Now let's have our hands gently on our knees or our shins. Looking down, are our feet gripping the floor? Our arches engaged? Our shins are vertical. Now let's just lift those hips 1 millimeter, wearing that load even more in the hamstrings. Then drive down and away to stand up tall. Squeeze your glutes, brace your core, take a second, and then relax. Let's do that 2 more times. Hip hinge, pushing those hips back behind you, keeping those shins nice and vertical, holding, maybe lifting the hips 1 millimeter, and then drive down and away, pressing through and growing tall. Punches in the stomach, punches in the butt. 1 more time. Gently hinge, pushing those hips back, keeping the shins vertical, keeping the feet gripping the floor, and then gently drive down and away, boom, to stand up tall and relax, shaking it out. Was I supposed to continue somewhere?
Yeah, from there, I think we're gonna walk down to the floor and just do a little wrist check-in as we condition towards the planks.
All right, let's hinge and get to the floor. So same move, pushing those hips back, and then slowly tipping forward, breaking some rules, and finding the floor. Your knees will come down, get comfortable. Place your fingertips down, your fingers, your callus line, and your palms. Nice. Right now, those fingers are, oops, maybe you can't see that. Your fingers are spread out nice and wide. Your shoulders are pulled down out of your ears, and let's rotate those elbow pits forward. Now, keeping that rotation, push both pinkies heavy into the floor, and then your ring fingers, and then your middle fingers, and your index fingers, and your thumb fingers. And now keep pushing and pulling, or pulling, on the floor so your shoulders start to drift towards over the fingertips. And then gently press away to push yourself back. Repeat again. Push down into the floor, pulling on those hands as you drift shoulders towards over those fingertips. And then this time we're going to press away so much we flick the floor away and shake it out. We'll do 1 more wrist move. We'll come down with our fists like this. So arms extended onto those knuckles there. They're right underneath our shoulders here. Again, our shoulders are packed and our elbows remain straight as we gently try to open the hand, rolling over the back of that hand. We're trying to have our fingertips nice and spread out, our shoulder packed, and our elbow straight. You should feel some feels up through that fuzzy part of your forearm. Now press into the floor, coming back to your fists. Let's repeat on the other side. Roll over the back of the hand. Elbow remains nice and straight, back of hand pushing into the floor, and then press back up. We'll repeat 1 more time on the other side. Shoulder stays packed, roll over the hand, and then gently press into the floor back up. And last one on the other side. Rolling over the back of the hand, keeping the shoulder packed, feeling that firework stretch through that forearm, and pushing back up. Now let's press the hips through and
Down dog up.
down dog up. With those hands spread out wide, let's tilt the tail to the ceiling. Gently lift the knees towards the ceiling. Lift the hip towards the ceiling and maybe try to straighten those knees. Take a breath there. Let's rebend the knees, retilt the tail to the ceiling and do that one more time. Keep the tailbone long, prioritize that over straight knees. Take your breath and then as needed, bend your knees and slowly walk yourself. Unhinge, back up to tall and shake it out. Nice.
Hinging, super important. We also like to fold. So let's return to the floor through our forward fold and then establish our conditions for the high plank. High planks could be done on those forearms if those wrists have said, I don't know about that warm up. So take it easy, but let's fold to the ground with control. We could start by casually looking up to the ceiling and initiate the forward fold by tucking the chin towards sternum, then letting the rib cage flex or pull onto the hips. And from here, with straight knees as allowed, or we could bend them, allow the rib cage to continue to flex onto the hip. From there, we can walk out into that high planks position, walk hands or feet accordingly, and for 10 seconds here, let's add high tension, meaning let's pull the floor together. Pull your feet to your belly button and hands to belly button too. And what about the butt squeeze? And what about the breathing? And the brace?
It's a lot of work.
Relax, placing the knees on the floor. Take a second, and one more time. Establish that high planks position. We have a slight scoop of those hips, belly button to spine, and again, pull on the floor. Pull, squeeze, brace, increase your tension and hold high tension planks for 10 seconds. Hold the pose, relax the tension, and then walk feet to hands, nice and effortless, and allow ourselves to fold or stack through the fold to the tall position and reset up top here. We'll continue that planking position and high tension as we go into some push-ups in a moment, but until then, it's my favorite movement clock.
Excellent.
Yes.
Have some space around you as we clock. With our feet underneath us, we'll do our usual. I'm going to start with my non-dominant foot because I always do my dominant side first. So I'm going to pull the heel off the floor and then use the toes to flick, pointing the leg out long, holding for a second, and then toe ball heel land. As we press forward, that knee might come towards over the toe, the back heel stays heavy, and then we'll push back. Let's prioritize trying to keep that back leg as straight as possible for this whole drill. Peel, point, we'll open the leg to 45, point it, hold it for a second, and then toe ball heel soft land. Ramrod that back leg, boom, back to center. Same leg, peel, this time keeping the hips square forward but sending the knee to the side, pointing, and then toe ball heel. Press forward to come back through center. Again, peel the foot up off the floor, send the knee side. Now rotating on that standing leg to a new corner, point the leg long, and toe ball heel soft.
I did it, Lauren. I held that pose.
I saw it. And back to center. Last time on this leg, we'll bend the knee, we'll toe ball heel, reaching it back, sitting back, and then pressing through to tall. Same thing, other leg. Peeling that heel up off the floor, feel that hamstring flick. Point, hold, and then toe ball heel soft land. Back heel's heavy, square forward. Press forward to come back. Peel the foot up off the floor, flick. Send the knee to 45. Point, hold, and then toe ball heel soft land.
Don't celebrate too early, Ian.
Push back to center. Peel that foot up off the floor. Send the knee to the side. Point, toe ball heel soft land, and then press back to center. 2 more. Peeling up, send the leg to the side, rotate to that new corner, hold, toe ball heel land, and press back to center. And last one, bending that knee, toe ball heel behind us, both hips sink back, and then pressing through to tall and shaking that out. I'm sure we'll revisit that in a second.
Shaking that out. Let's go back to the floor, one set only of your high tension plank, and let's use our hinge to get there today. So set up your feet outside of the hips, chop, hips back, vertical shins with those heavy feet, and then we can break those rules, encouraging knees to go towards over toes as you find the floor, fingertips, callus lines, hands, and assemble in your high plank. Let's do it. What does that mean? It means pull the floor together, squeeze your butt cheeks, the threat of Lauryn coming through and sitting on you like a park bench. 5, 4, squeeze, 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 squeeze. Hold the pose, but relax the tension. Now tip the tailbone to the ceiling. The knees might soften, and then walk feet to hands or hands to feet, and then assemble to standing through the hinge. Extending the hips and adding that friendly wiggle once we're up at the top. We're gonna squat a little bit here today too, and then we'll get back to Lauryn's weight transfers. First, let's set up your feet in your sumo stance, perhaps 2 shoulder widths of yours apart. Press into the floor for 5 seconds, feel the feet ground, knees straighten, hips come alive. Slowly reverse that style and adduct or pull into the ground as if to rumple the rubber floor tiles underneath of us here. How are those adductors? Relax the tension. Continue to pull and guide yourself down, controlling gravity by pulling in, encouraging the sumo squat. From here, push down, extend those hips through, full cramp of the glutes, full brace of the abs, pull in, gather tension, control the descent or the down phase of this squat. Perhaps the hips are getting lower than those knees, and then drive out as we extend those hips to tall. One last time. We'll pull in, nice and groovy as we pull ourselves down against gravity, and then push down to go up. I like heel toes together after that. A little bit of our friendly wiggle, and then little push-ups in between here. Lauryn, what you got for us today?
Let's get back to the floor via our fold, and we'll do a couple slow push-ups here. So from that fold, maybe we look up to the sky with our chin, and then we pull our chin in and slowly start rounding ourselves forward. Remembering there's that wall behind you and a wall in front of you as you try to stay as tight to your body as you can and try not to push those hips back behind you. We'll walk out to our push-up position, and for 2 rounds, we're gonna hold each phase of the push-up. I'm gonna do this from my knees in that modified position. Right now, we're holding that top position. Our lats are engaged, but squeeze. 3, 2, now let's find a little bit lower and hold for 3, 2, and then maybe even lower and hold for 3, 2, press, back up, repeat, top position, hold, 3, 2, medium position, try to keep that head in line with the spine, 2, 1, and last one as low as you can go and hold for 3, 2, press the floor away, tuck the toes, lift the hips again. We'll walk our feet to hands, hands to feet, and we'll unstack or unfold ourselves. So thinking about stacking 1 vertebrae at a time, using the muscles on the front and the back of the spine to extend to tall. You like that?
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, good.
No, I love it. Just feeling hot in here again today.
It is.
Sumo squats section 2. From the sumo, we're going to the shiko. It starts mostly the same. We'll pull ourselves down into our squat, and let's work on a weight transfer as we push one way to hold a low pose for a second. Then extend that leg, land toe ball heel, and then press through the ground, assembling on one leg. Repeat. We could use a balance aid in front to help us with this, and low styles first. But then if that's okay, we could climb the leg, straighten the knee, land toe ball heel, and repeat to the other side. Stay low if that's for you. Climb the leg if allowed. Point, straighten, land with grace. Again, to low position, climb the leg, and this is where we break some of my ballet rules, and we might start leaning to the side to straighten and land toe ball heel. Other side. Extend those hips forward, climb the leg, straightening out, toe ball heel. Last one each side here to tall. Climb. Extend those hips forward as you reach your leg to the side. Toe ball heel. And final effort here. Own the balance. Work on the climb. Keep extending those hips. Assemble in the squat. Nice and tall. Heel toes together. And then it's push-up time again.
Push-up time. Let's walk ourselves back out, this time using our hip hinge. So pressing those hips back. We'll slowly come out to your push-up position, whether it's from your knees or from your toes. Let's do 1 to 5 really good push-ups, regular styles. Pull your shoulders down, squeeze your butt, brace your core. Pull yourself to your safe low and press away. Up to 4 more. I'd rather you do less and do them really well than do more and start getting into those bad habits. Keeping the head in line, the glutes and the core braced for our last one here. And then we'll lift our hips up, pressing our tailbone back as we unhinge, driving our hips through to tall. Shaking it up.
The last sumo style effort here is a little bit silly, just like that walk to start with. It's a little bit of the sumo shuffle. So get a little bit of a pathway for you to move through and assemble your feet in your sumo squat. Pull low. Keeping your foot on the floor the whole time, slide or shuffle. Small steps, many small steps, and then press to tall. Let's repeat that effort in reverse. Pull ourselves down, hips are underneath of the shoulders, and keeping the feet on the ground, limiting how much that upper body is rotating, and then to tall. My quads are burning. I'd like to do that just one more time.
Go
Keeping
ahead.
the feet on the floor for balance, front, reverse, final effort like this today. Pull ourselves down. Keep the feet on the ground, strong core, limiting how much that upper body is moving from side to side and to tall. And again, we'll pull ourselves down, working backwards, stabilize through that core, pull those feet, 3, 2, and add that wiggle. Friendly wiggles, we hope. Another comment here is when I see you do maybe, good morning, my beautiful peeps. Good morning, our beautiful peeps, and you beautiful peeps. So hello to you as well. Sumo.
We should do one more set of push-ups
Yes.
and then get
Thank
into
you.
our weight transfers.
Nice.
Either hinge or fold to get to the floor. Don't do both. I'll chip chop my hips back to my hinge, pressing them back. We're gonna walk ourselves out. And whether you're holding that high planks position because you're done with push-ups or doing another 1 to 5 push-ups, here we go. Shoulders packed, glutes and butts, and pressing back to tall. Remember, we can always assume that modified position from our knees, keeping our hips in line with our shoulders, bracing our core, and keeping those lats engaged on our last one. And then stand back up the same way you came down, so either that hinge or the fold, and pressing to tall. Nice. We'll get into those weight transfers a bit here.
Nice.
I've been really liking that front and back transfer. Because we just did that sumo squat, let's do that now. So either from the parallel position of your feet or slightly turned out. I do like that slight turn out a little bit better. But you can go from parallel. We'll take a single leg and point it to the side, and then draw that circle all the way around to the front and place the foot down, toe ball, heel. Right now, let's practice on flat feet. Push off the back foot to find a balance on that front leg, flicking that back toe away, pointing, and holding. You should feel that nice straight leg and the glute. 3, 2, toe ball, heel that back foot down. Press off the front foot to come to that back foot, and hold for 3, 2. Now let's find the in-between phase. Either have your balance aid at your side, stay on your flat feet, or progress by pressing your feet into the floor, into that ball of foot, 2-footed balance position. Pressing slowly off the back foot to transition weight towards that front foot, and maybe finding a full balance on that front foot for 3, 2, and then toe ball comes down on that back foot. You'll transition weight off of the front foot onto the back leg. 3, 2, toe ball comes down on the front foot, and then heels come down. You'll point your front foot and bring it back to center. coming underneath you. Great. Okay, we'll do the same thing on the other side. Glad to see you all here, and we love seeing comments, even if they are about the sound. We're glad to see you're here. Let's transition weight, pointing one leg out and drawing it around to the front, toe ball heel. Again, on the front flat foot first, pushing off the back foot, finding a front foot balance and holding for 3, 2, and then toe ball heel, push off the front foot and find a back foot balance for 3, 2, and then toe ball heel. We're between both feet here, and we'll push down to find that balance again. As you press forward, think about stacking that weight right underneath you to find that nice balance line for 3, 2, toe ball, back foot comes down, front foot pushes away, and find that back foot balance for 3, 2, then toe ball, 2 feet, heels connect, point that front leg, and bring it back underneath. Shaking it out.
Shaking it out. Let's return to the floor for a nice upper body rotation as you finish today's practice. As Lauryn said, learn and implement the hinge. Learn and implement the fold, but stay away from the hybrid of a little bit of both. So, Lauryn, clean up that hingey fold, and let's hinge to the ground. Set up the hinge, tip the knees forward, fingertips, callus lines, knees, and any way that you got safely, let's get on to the elbow on the side in a 90-90 position, or very similar to the lunge. Push the elbow into the floor to support the core, supporting the shoulder with the core, and then take your head and look towards that elbow on the ground, and then the rib cage to follow. Next, look up to the ceiling, rotate through the rib cage. Now place a little more effort into the hips. Pull the bottom leg in, top hip forward, and then from looking up, look down to the elbow, let the rib cage follow. Make that commitment to press the top hip forward, and then look to the ceiling, rotate through the rib cage. Let's repeat one more time. Initiate with the head neck first, then let that rib cage follow, continuing to extend that top butt cheek. Then look up to the ceiling, rotate through the rib cage, and then press through the floor, assembling in your tall posture. Switching sides, final effort on the other side now. We're in our 90-90 lunge, and again, the commitment of having that top hip extending forward. With the top hip forward, look at the elbow on the ground, and then encourage the rib cage to rotate following. Then, looking towards the ceiling with the head neck, press down through the elbow to rotate through the rib cage, and push that top hip forward. And then look down. Rotate through the rib cage. Again, we'll look up to the ceiling. That top hip's pushing forward. The rib cage is following the actions of the head neck. And then look down one last time. Rotate through the rib cage again. Push the top hip forward. And for the final effort, look up. Rotate through the rib cage. And then press the floor away. And rest. And assemble anyhow that's safe and strong for you. So for those dedicated bars and bellers here who had put up with us through maybe some sound glitches, we appreciate you being here today. If you can't hear this, thank you for being here. And we look forward to doing this again, cleaning up the sound.
It looks like it's okay.
Oh, good.
Sorry, I didn't pass that message along.
Great. Well, I'm sorry for the remedial efforts of saying thank you, but sincerely, thank you so much for being here today. We'll be here next week. Check your members' link letter for new schedules for next week. It is a shortened week, so there's a couple different wrinkles your way as we are off for a long weekend. Thank you. I am Ian. I got it right.
And I'm Lauryn.
And together we stay strong. With you, thank you so much for being here, and we'll do it again. Have a great day. Take care.
Goodbye.
Bye.